The phone vibrates against the mahogany conference table at exactly 2:47 p.m., and I know before I even glance at the screen that it's him. Sterling Clark doesn't believe in convenient timing. The board meeting continues around me, voices discussing quarterly projections and audit schedules, but my attention narrows to the glowing notification. You are a disgrace. I'm removing you from the will. Do not contact us. Speak to my attorney. I read it twice. 3 times. The words don't change. My thumbs move before my brain catches up. I type a single word and hit send. Understood. Mr. Henderson is mid-sentence about the Peterson account when I close my laptop with a quiet click. He pauses, his bushy eyebrows rising slightly, but I'm already standing. Excuse me, I say. My voice sounds normal. Steady. Like my father didn't just disown me via text message during a Wednesday afternoon meeting. I don't run to my office. I walk. Heels clicking against polished floors, each step measured and deliberate. The door closes behind me with a soft thud, and I sink into my chair, opening my laptop again. My fingers know where to go. They've logged into this banking portal 1,000 times, checking balances, reviewing statements, making sure the automatic payments clear on schedule. The mortgage account loads first, then I see it. Personal loan application. Status. Pending disbursement. Amount. $50,000. My name. My social security number. My forged signature, clumsy and wrong in a way that would make any forensic accountant laugh. He didn't even try to match the slant of my letters. I pick up my desk phone and dial the number I have memorized. First National Bank, Fraud Department. This is Kevin speaking. This is Addison Clark. Account number 4,782 to 9,163. I'm filing an identity theft affidavit. I need all accounts secured immediately. This is a family member fraud situation. Kevin's voice shifts from routine to alert. Can you verify your date of birth and the last 4 digits of your social? I rattle off the information while pulling up my personal ledger. The spreadsheet opens, and there they are. 5 years of transactions, lined up like soldiers. $3,200. Every month. Without fail. 60 payments. $192,000 total. For the lake house. Grandmother's lake house. The one she left to all of us. The one my parents promised would be mine someday. Just keep making the mortgage payments, Addison. We'll transfer the deed when we retire. You'll have your sanctuary. Your peace. Except I haven't been allowed to visit in 6 months. Airbnb guests, my mother said. Can't interrupt paying renters. So sorry, sweetheart. Maybe next month. The photoshopped property tax bills arrive quarterly. I've filed them all. Organized them by date, because that's what I do. I'm responsible. I'm the rock. I'm the walking ATM. The memory surfaces without permission. I'm 16 again, standing in our kitchen with 2 paychecks in my hand. One from the grocery store, one from the tutoring center. My father's hand on my shoulder, warm and approving. Addison understands duty, he'd said to my mother. She's helping with Preston's tuition. She knows what family means. Preston. Golden child Preston, who'd needed help with college because his grades weren't quite good enough for scholarships. Preston, who now drives a BMW he can't afford and lives in a condo that's perpetually between investments. Kevin is still talking, confirming the fraud alert, explaining the investigation process. I make appropriate noises while opening my email. There's one from 2 days ago, sender. My neighbor Tina. Subject line. FWD. Ring camera from Tuesday night. The video loads. My parents' front porch. Evening light fading to dusk. My father stands with a cigar, smoke curling upward. My mother appears beside him, wine glass in hand. Their voices are clear. Addison is just a walking ATM, Sterling says, tapping ash into the planter. She's so desperate for approval she'd pay for the air we breathe. My mother laughs. Actually laughs. It's a good thing she believes the Airbnb lie. If she knew we sold the lake house to the Millers 6 months ago to cover Preston's bookie debts, she'd cut us off. The video ends. I sit very still. My hands rest flat on my desk, palms down, fingers spread. The office is quiet, except for the hum of my computer and the distant murmur of voices from the hallway. I'm not unloved. I'm defrauded. The distinction matters. Love is messy, complicated, sometimes cruel in ways that can't be quantified. But fraud has evidence. Documentation, patterns, Fraud can be prosecuted. I open my forensic accounting software, the same program I use for corporate investigations, for tracking money laundering and embezzlement schemes. My fingers hover over the keyboard for just a moment before I start typing. Sterling Clark. Known associates. Financial transactions. The first search returns results immediately. Shell companies. Wire transfers. Patterns that look wrong even at first glance. My phone buzzes again. Another text from Sterling. Your mother is very upset. You've always been selfish. I don't reply this time. Instead, I screenshot the message and save it to a new folder on my desktop. I title it, Evidence. Evidence. Then I lean back in my chair and whisper to the empty room. Let's see what else you've been hiding. The office is dark except for the glow of my 3 monitors. It's 2:47 a.m. I know this because I've been watching the clock in the corner of the screen tick forward for the past few hours. Each minute another transaction analyzed. Another thread pulled. My coffee went cold around midnight. I don't care. The forensic software I use for corporate fraud investigations hums quietly, processing the data I've fed it. Sterling Clark's banking records. Preston's accounts. Wire transfers, deposits, withdrawals. The same tools I use to catch embezzlers and money launderers, now pointed at my own family. The pattern emerges slowly, then all at once. Preston's checking account shows deposits every 2 weeks. Always cash. Always between $9,200 and $9,800. Never over $10,000. Because $10,000 triggers automatic IRS reporting requirements, and whoever taught Preston about smurfing clearly knew what they were doing. I pull up my calculator. 18 months of deposits. The total makes my stomach clench. $170,000. I screenshot everything. Each transaction gets its own file, labeled with dates and amounts. My fingers move automatically, muscle memory from a decade of building cases against people who thought they were smarter than the system. The wire transfers are next. Sterling's business account shows regular payments to something called Sterling Consulting Group, LLC, Delaware registration. I run the business entity search, and the address appears on my screen. 1247 Industrial Parkway, Wilmington, Delaware. I switch to Google Earth. The satellite view loads, and I zoom in slowly, watching the pixelated image sharpen into clarity. A strip mall, faded awnings, cracked parking lot. And there, in the corner of a building that looks like it last saw maintenance during the Reagan administration, a rusted P.O. box service. Sterling Consulting Group doesn't have offices. It doesn't have employees. It's a piece of paper filed with the state of Delaware, existing only to receive wire transfers and disappear money into accounts I haven't traced yet. I open another window. The Veterans Memorial Fund financial statements are public record, posted quarterly on their website. I download every PDF from the past 2 years and start cross-referencing dates. Wire transfer from Veterans Memorial Fund checking, the 15th of March 2024, $8,500. Cash deposit into Preston's account, the 18th of March 2024, $9,200. My jaw tightens. Wire transfer from Veterans Memorial Fund, the 22nd of July 2024, $12,000. Cash deposit into Preston's account, the 25th of July 2024, $9,800. Cash deposit into Preston's account, the 26th of July 2024, $2,100. They split the larger amounts, smurfed them into digestible pieces that wouldn't raise flags, and every single deposit traces back to withdrawals from a charity fund meant for disabled veterans. I create a new spreadsheet. 3 columns. Date, Veterans Fund withdrawal, Preston's deposit. The correlation is perfect. 19 separate instances over 18 months. The anger I've been holding back since yesterday afternoon crystallizes into something colder, something precise. This isn't about family anymore. It's about justice. I save everything to my encrypted cloud storage. Then I create duplicate copies on 2 separate external hard drives. One goes in my office safe. The other goes in my gym bag, which will stay with me until this is over. In the morning, my phone buzzes at 8:15 a.m. I'm still at my desk, still wearing yesterday's clothes. The caller ID shows Mr. Henderson. Addison, do you have a minute this morning? His voice is careful, concerned. I wonder what my face looked like when I left that board meeting yesterday. I'm in my office now. Good. Come see me when you're ready. I stop in the bathroom first. My reflection shows dark circles and hair that needs to be rebraided, but my eyes are clear, focused. I smooth down my blouse and head to Henderson's corner office. He's standing by his window, coffee in hand. When I enter, his silver hair catches the morning light, and his expression shifts from worried to alert when he sees my face. Close the door, he says. I do. Addison, I'm going to be direct. You left that meeting yesterday looking like you'd seen a ghost. Then I got an email from your bank's fraud department this morning, copied to you, confirming an identity theft investigation. Do you need our legal department involved? The fact that he's already done his homework doesn't surprise me. Henderson didn't build this firm by missing details. Not yet, I say. But I may need time off in the coming weeks. This is a family matter, but it involves federal wire fraud across state lines. His eyebrows rise slightly. Federal? Yes, sir. He sets down his coffee and leans against his desk. Take whatever time you need. We have your back. And Addison, if you need referrals for attorneys who specialize in this area, I know 3. The tightness in my chest eases slightly. Thank you. One more thing. He pulls a business card from his pocket. Ellen Kowalski, bank fraud investigator I worked with on the Brennan case. She owes me a favor, and she's good at her job. Tell her I sent you. I take the card. The relief feels dangerous, like I might crack if I acknowledge it too directly. My phone rings at 11:30 a.m. Unknown number. I answer anyway. Addison, stop this nonsense. Meredith's voice is shrill, cracking at the edges. Your father only signed your name because he knew you'd say yes. We are family. You need to unfreeze these accounts right now. I tap the record button on my phone's voice memo app. Forging a signature for a loan is a felony, Meredith. My voice sounds strange to my own ears. Calm. Almost clinical. And since you just admitted on this recorded call that you knew about the house sale and the fraud, you're an accessory. Save your tears for the indictment. I hang up. The voicemail notification appears 3 seconds later. I save it to my evidence folder with the timestamp clearly visible. The loan application gets officially denied at 2 p.m. The email from First National Bank includes a fraud flag notation that will follow Sterling's credit report for the next 7 years. At 4:30 p.m., I get a text from Preston. Just 3 words. This isn't over. I screenshot it and file it with the rest. By the time I leave the office at 6 p.m., every joint account Sterling and I shared has been frozen pending investigation. His credit cards are declining across Chicago. Meredith can't access the checking account she's used for 20 years. And I'm so tired I can barely remember how to drive home. But the spreadsheet is complete. The dossier is backed up in 3 locations. And tomorrow, I'll keep digging until I know every dollar they've stolen, every lie they've told, every crime they've committed, in the belief that family loyalty would keep me silent. They taught me to balance books. Now I'll balance the scales. Preston's voicemail reaches the firm at 9:23 a.m. on a Thursday. I'm reviewing a client's expense reports when Mr. Leapinators. Henderson's assistant appears at my door, her face pinched with concern. Mr. Henderson needs to see you, she says quietly. Now. The walk to his office feels longer than it is. My heels click against tile in a rhythm that matches my pulse. Henderson sits behind his desk, expression unreadable, and gestures to the chair across from him. Close the door, please. I do. He touches his computer mouse and Preston's voice fills the room, slurred, frantic. The words tumble over each other in a cascade of accusations that would be laughable if they weren't so venomous. My sister is having a complete mental breakdown. She's addicted to prescription opioids. We have proof she's been embezzling from client accounts to feed her habit. We need to meet with management immediately before she hurts someone or herself. This is a family intervention. She's dangerous. The voicemail ends. Silence settles like dust. Henderson leans back in his chair, fingers steepled under his chin. His eyes, sharp and assessing behind wire-rimmed glasses, never leave my face. Do you need our legal department to handle this defamation, Addison? My hands rest flat on the armrests. Steady. No, sir. I prefer to let the FBI handle it. Something shifts in his expression. Not surprise. Recognition, maybe, like he's seeing exactly what he expected to see. I thought you might say that. He saves the recording to a file, then swivels his monitor toward me. I'm copying this to your personal drive. Document everything. And Addison? Take whatever time you need. The partners have been briefed. Your reputation here is spotless. I stand, legs somehow solid beneath me. Thank you, sir. One more thing. He taps a pen against his desk calendar. Your brother left his callback number. I thought you might want it for your FBI file. I almost smile. Almost. Back at my desk, I add Preston's voicemail to my evidence folder, the timestamp, the callback number, the specific claims. All of it cataloged with the same precision I'd use for any financial crime investigation. My phone rings at 11:47 a.m., unknown number. I answer on the third ring. Addison? It's Aunt Linda. I haven't heard her voice in a decade. Not since grandmother's funeral, when she'd cornered me by the punch bowl to complain about the flower arrangements. Hello, Linda. I've been hearing such concerning things about this situation with your father. Her tone drips with practiced sympathy. I think there's been a terrible misunderstanding. You need to be the bigger person here, sweetheart. You're ruining your father's reputation over money. Family protects family. I open my laptop while she talks. My fingers navigate through folders I organized weeks ago, when I first started the forensic autopsy of Sterling's finances. Linda's voice continues, a steady stream of manipulation disguised as concern. Your mother is beside herself. Preston says you've frozen their accounts. Over what? A simple misunderstanding about a loan? Surely we can all sit down like adults and work this out. I find the file, click it open, attach it to an email with Linda's address already entered in the recipient line. Check your inbox, Linda. She pauses mid-sentence. What? I just sent you a PDF. That's a copy of a check Dad wrote 3 years ago. He cashed out your son's college savings bond, the one Grandma left him in her will. Used it to pay for his country club membership renewal. He forged your signature on the release paperwork. The silence stretches so long I check to make sure the call hasn't dropped. The bond was worth $12,000. I continue. My voice remains level. Conversational, even. I found the transaction while reviewing his account activity. The club charged him $11,200 that year. He deposited the difference into Preston's checking account. I have copies of everything if you'd like to verify with your bank. She doesn't speak, doesn't breathe, as far as I can tell. You should probably check on your mother's jewelry too, the pieces she left you. I noticed some interesting pawnshop transactions around the same time. The line goes dead. I save the call log, note the duration, add it to the folder, my email pings. Henderson has sent a message to all partners with the subject line, personnel matter, informational only. I scan the contents, professional, clinical. A brief explanation that a staff member is dealing with family fraud, that false allegations have been made, and that the firm's position is one of complete support for the affected employee. He doesn't name me, but anyone paying attention will know. The responses start within minutes, colleagues offering legal referrals. One senior accountant sharing her own story of family financial exploitation. Another forwarding contact information for a bank investigator who specializes in identity theft cases. By 2 p.m., my accountant friend Sarah has called twice. On the second attempt, I answer. I heard through the grapevine, she says without preamble. Family fraud case. Listen, I've testified as an expert witness in 3 of these. If you need documentation reviewed or someone to explain the forensics to law enforcement, I'm available. Thank you. I mean it, Addison. These cases are winnable, especially with your skill set. They picked the wrong person to scam. The bank investigator's email arrives at 3:30 p.m. Subject line, FBI Financial Crimes Unit contact. Inside is a name, Agent Miller, a direct phone number. A note explaining that my case matches the profile for federal wire fraud prosecution. I draft a response but don't send it yet. There's still one more thing to check. The Veterans Memorial Fund maintains public filings as a registered nonprofit. I've known this for weeks. What I haven't done is cross-reference the fund's financial reports with Sterling's personal account activity. I do it now. The wire transfers appear like breadcrumbs. Small amounts, staggered across months, always just under reporting thresholds, from the fund's account to Sterling Consulting Group. That hollow shell company with the rusted mailbox and no actual business operations. From there, the money splits. Some to Preston's accounts, some to cover Sterling's personal expenses. All of it stolen from donations meant for disabled veterans. I total the figures. $85,000 over 2 years. My hands don't shake as I compile the timeline. Transaction dates. Bank routing numbers. The fund's public statements promising support for wounded soldiers while Sterling siphoned donations into his son's gambling addiction. The family lawyer's cease and desist letter arrives via email at 4:15 p.m. I read it once. The threats are predictable. Retract all fraud claims. Pay $150,000 for emotional distress. Stop harassing the family immediately or face legal consequences. I laugh. Actually laugh, the sound startling in my quiet office. Then I open my FBI documentation folder and add one final section. Veterans Memorial Fund embezzlement. Wire fraud across state lines. Federal charges, not local civil disputes. The folder is comprehensive now. Complete. Every transaction traced. Every lie documented. Every theft proven beyond reasonable doubt. I send Agent Miller the email requesting a meeting. Attach nothing yet. Just a brief professional inquiry about discussing potential federal fraud charges. His response arrives within 20 minutes. Tomorrow morning. 9 a.m. FBI field office downtown. I print the folder contents. All of it. Pages and pages of evidence. Organized chronologically. Labeled clearly. I place everything in a manila folder and write across the tab in permanent marker. Sterling Clark, wire fraud, identity theft, Veterans Fund, embezzlement. My office empties as colleagues head home. The sun angles lower through my window, casting long shadows across my desk. I sit with the folder in front of me, hands resting on either side of it. Tomorrow morning, FBI field office, Agent Miller. No turning back after this. I close my eyes and think of grandmother's lake house, the real one, before my parents sold it to cover Preston's debts. The dock where I used to sit with morning coffee, watching sunrise paint the water gold. The silence that felt like peace instead of punishment. They stole that from me. But they also made a crucial mistake. They stole from veterans. From people who sacrificed everything. People whose stories matter to federal prosecutors and juries and judges. I open my eyes and slide the folder into my briefcase. Tomorrow morning, I walk into that FBI office and hand over everything. Tomorrow, the walking ATM stops making deposits and starts making withdrawals. The following day, Agent Miller closes the folder and looks at me across the metal desk. 3 hours have passed since I walked into this FBI field office, and my coffee went cold somewhere around hour 2. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead, the same relentless hum I've heard in every government building I've ever entered. This is federal wire fraud with aggravating factors, Miller says. His voice is flat, professional. Veterans Fund involvement elevates priority. I hand him the encrypted drives. 2 of them, both containing identical copies of everything. 5 years of transactions, shell company formations, wire transfer receipts, forged signatures. The kind of evidence that makes prosecutors salivate. We'll open a formal investigation within 48 hours, Miller continues. He's younger than I expected, maybe 40, with the kind of exhausted eyes that suggest he's seen too many families destroy each other over money. You should prepare for your family to escalate when they realize what's happening. I almost laugh. They've already disowned me, and tried to take out a loan in my name. How much worse can it get? Miller doesn't smile. You'd be surprised. 2 days later, I find out exactly what he means. I'm reviewing the Patterson account when my phone starts buzzing. Not the usual single notification, but a sustained vibration that suggests something has gone viral. I unlock the screen and see 47 text messages from numbers I don't recognize. Then I open Nextdoor. Preston's post sits at the top of our neighborhood feed, and the comment count is climbing by the second. The timestamp shows he published it 20 minutes ago. My sister Addison is spreading lies about our family. She's claiming money is missing from the Veterans Memorial Fund, but the truth is, she's just bitter about being written out of Dad's will. The $85,000 she's talking about was just a temporary loan to help our family through a rough patch. We intended to pay it back next month. She's weaponizing a private family matter to destroy Dad's reputation in this community. Don't believe her lies. I read it twice, my pulse steady, my hands completely still on the desk. He confessed, in writing, to embezzlement, on a public forum. The comments are already brutal. Barbara Henderson, from 3 streets over. Wait, so you're admitting the money went missing? Mark Sullivan, whose son served in Afghanistan. A temporary loan from a veterans fund? Are you serious right now? I screenshot everything before Preston can delete it. Then I watch as dozens of people do the same thing, the post spreading through our wealthy suburb like wildfire. My phone rings. Mr. Henderson. Have you seen next door? He asks, currently watching Preston dig his own grave in real time. Good, because I just forwarded it to our legal department. They want you to know this constitutes written evidence of embezzlement. He pauses. Also, Sterling's at the country club right now. Might want to check those Ring camera groups you're in. I don't have to wait long. The first video appears within minutes, uploaded by Jennifer Morrison with the caption, "When keeping it real goes wrong." The footage shows Sterling approaching the country club entrance, shoulders back, that familiar arrogant tilt to his chin. The manager intercepts him at the door. I can't hear the conversation, but I watch Sterling's face change when his membership card is declined. His mouth moves, animated, angry. "Do you know who I am?" The manager gestures to security. Two men in polo shirts appear, flanking my father. He's still talking, still posturing, but they're already guiding him toward the exit. The camera follows his walk of shame past the dining room, where at least 30 members are watching. Several have their phones out. A second video appears from a different angle. This one has audio. "This is outrageous." Sterling's voice carries across the entrance hall. "I've been a member here for 20 years. The board received some concerning emails this morning," the manager says, his tone professionally neutral. "Your membership is suspended pending investigation." I close my laptop and lean back in my chair. The board members work fast. My phone buzzes again. This time it's a news alert. Local station WMAQ has picked up the story. North Shore nonprofit under investigation. Allegations of embezzlement from Veterans Memorial Fund. The article is brief, carefully worded to avoid libel, but it mentions Sterling by name as the suspended treasurer. It quotes the board president. "We take these allegations extremely seriously and are cooperating fully with authorities." Within an hour, the story spreads to 3 more local news sites. My inbox fills with messages from people I haven't spoken to in years. Some offer support, others ask for details I can't provide. I delete them all and focus on the pattern I'm watching unfold. Preston's post has been screenshot and shared to 4 different Facebook groups. Sterling's country club video has 73,000 views. The Veterans Memorial Fund story is trending on local Twitter. The trap is springing exactly as I built it. Public exposure, community outrage, institutional response, each piece falling into place with the precision of a well-balanced ledger. By evening, the family unity fractures in a way I didn't even need to engineer. My neighbor forwards me another Ring camera video. This time it's from Meredith in Sterling's front porch. My mother stands with an envelope in her hand, staring at a utility disconnect notice. I watch her hands shake as she tries to process what she's seeing. She pulls out her phone, presumably checking their bank accounts, and her face goes pale. She doesn't know yet. She hasn't checked the wall safe where Sterling keeps the emergency cash. But she's starting to suspect. The next video arrives an hour later. Preston's car in my parents' driveway. The argument audible even through the door. "You got caught because you were sloppy with the books." Preston's voice, high-pitched and panicked. "I wouldn't have needed to touch the fund if you didn't have a gambling addiction." Sterling, loud enough for neighbors to hear. My mother's voice cuts through. "Both of you shut up. Do you realize what Addison has done? Everything is frozen. Everything." I save all 3 videos to my evidence folder. Then I open my email and find the message I've been waiting for. Subject line: Search warrant approved. Agent Miller's note is brief. Execution scheduled for 6 a.m. tomorrow. Recommend you stay clear of the area. I won't be anywhere near my parents' house when the FBI arrives. I'll be here, in my office, doing exactly what I do best: balancing ledgers, documenting patterns, watching the numbers tell their inexorable truth. My phone buzzes one final time, a text from Meredith. "Please, Addison, we can fix this, we're family." I don't respond. Instead, I pull up the federal indictment draft Agent Miller shared with me this afternoon. 3 names listed as defendants, 3 sets of charges: wire fraud, embezzlement, identity theft, conspiracy. The paperwork is beautiful in its precision, every transaction documented, every lie cataloged, every attempt at manipulation turned into evidence. I close my laptop and look out my office window at the city skyline. The sun is setting, painting the buildings in shades of orange and gold. Somewhere across the city, my family is tearing itself apart. Fighting over blame, scrambling for cash that doesn't exist, realizing finally that the walking ATM has closed her accounts permanently. Tomorrow morning, federal agents will knock on their door with a search warrant. Tomorrow afternoon, boxes of evidence will be carried out in front of the neighbors. Tomorrow evening, the local news will have footage of my father in handcuffs. But tonight, I sit in the quiet of my office and feel something I haven't felt in 5 years. Peace. The battering ram hits the door at 6:03 a.m. I'm already awake when my phone lights up with the news alert. I am at my office. I did not go home last night, waiting for this moment. FBI executes search warrant at suburban home. The article doesn't name Sterling yet, but I know. I requested the courtesy notification from Agent Miller. Professional courtesy, investigator to investigator. I pour my coffee and watch the live helicopter feed on my laptop. The suburban street I grew up on looks smaller from above. The house where I spent 16 years working 2 jobs to prove my worth now, surrounded by black SUVs and agents and windbreakers. Neighbors cluster on lawns in bathrobes and slippers, phones out, recording everything. The doorbell camera footage will be excellent this time. Intentional. By 7:30, the local news has cameras on scene. I recognize the reporter, a blonde woman in a purple blazer, who usually covers city council meetings. She's practically vibrating with excitement, microphone pointed at the house while agents carry out boxes, computers, filing cabinets, the kind of seizure that makes excellent television. Sterling's Mercedes isn't in the driveway. I zoom in on the feed. Meredith stands on the front steps, hands pressed to her mouth, mascara already tracking down her cheeks. An agent is speaking to her, gesturing back toward the house. She's shaking her head, hysterical in the way she's always been hysterical when things don't go her way. The performance falls flat without an audience who cares. My second monitor shows the neighborhood next door feed. 53 comments already. Screenshots of Preston's deleted confession post making the rounds again, shared and reshared. Someone posted a link to the Veterans Memorial Fund investigation. The schadenfreude is thick enough to choke on. Did you see the FBI at the Clark's house? About time. My cousin is a disabled vet. This makes me sick. I always knew something was off about that family. I close the browser. Their judgment isn't mine to manage. At 8:15, Meredith's sister calls. I silence it. Then my mother's book club president. Silence. Then someone from the country club, probably calling to ask if I knew, if I had any comment, if I understood what this meant for the family reputation. There is no family reputation left to protect. Agent Miller texts at 9. Subject not at residence. Vehicle located downtown. CPD notified. Downtown, Chicago, my building. I stand from my desk, coffee forgotten, and walk to the window. The morning sun reflects off glass and steel. Lake Michigan stretches east, gray, and endless. Somewhere down there, Sterling is driving toward me, desperate and stupid and convinced that I'm still the person who answers when he calls. My intercom buzzes at 9:47 a.m. Miss Clark, there's a Sterling Clark in the lobby requesting access. He's quite insistent. Should I send him up? I pull up the lobby camera feed on my phone. He looks destroyed. Shirt untucked, hair wild, eyes red from crying or rage, or both. He's pressing the call button repeatedly, leaning into the intercom speaker like proximity will change my answer. Miss Clark? I'll handle it, I say. Alert building security, and call Chicago PD. Tell them there's a trespasser who's refusing to leave. I switch to the intercom channel, watching him through the camera. His mouth moves before I press the button, already pleading with a speaker that isn't transmitting. Mr. Clark, I say. My voice echoes through the lobby. He jerks upright, searching for the camera. I have alerted building security and the Chicago PD of a trespasser. You have 2 minutes. Addison, his voice cracks. Please, you have to fix this. I'm your father. I open my Files app and select the PDF my attorney emailed this morning. Federal indictment, 19 pages. My name listed under victim witnesses. I airdrop it to his phone. His pocket buzzes. He pulls out the device with shaking hands, squinting at the notification. I watch his face drain of color as he opens the file, scrolling through counts of wire fraud, identity theft, embezzlement. The FBI is tracking your phone's GPS right now. I say through the intercom. I suggest you leave. He looks up at the camera. For a moment, I think he might cry. Instead, his expression twists into something ugly and familiar. Rage. The same rage I saw at 16 when I suggested maybe Preston should get a job instead of another loan. You're destroying this family, he shouts. Everything I did was for us. For you. Sirens wail in the distance, growing closer. Goodbye, Sterling. I disconnect the intercom and watch him run. He makes it 2 blocks before 3 squad cars corner him against a boutique storefront. The takedown is professional, efficient. Hands behind his back, Miranda writes delivered on a sidewalk where tourists stop to film. My phone rings. Agent Miller. We have him. She says. Preston was arrested at his residence 20 minutes ago. Your mother is being questioned as a potential accessory, but we're offering a cooperation deal. The evidence? Solid. The dossier you provided was instrumental. We've got transaction records, wire transfers, the smurfing pattern. The Veterans Fund fraud alone is enough for serious time, but combined with the identity theft and your testimony, this is airtight. I sit back down at my desk. My coffee has gone cold. The grand jury convenes next week, Miller continues. We're expecting indictments within 2 weeks. Multiple counts for your father, conspiracy and money laundering for your brother. Your mother will likely face reduced charges if she cooperates fully. Thank you, Agent Miller. Miss Clark? She pauses. You did the right thing. I end the call and open my personal ledger one final time. 5 years of payments. The money never deserved. I highlight the entire column and press delete. The cell is empty now. Just a header and blank space below. I save the file and close my laptop. Outside my window, Chicago continues its morning. Traffic flows, people walk, the sun climbs higher. Everything moves forward while Sterling sits in a police car, finally facing consequences he spent decades avoiding. My intercom buzzes again. Miss Clark, the police have removed the individual. Is there anything else you need? No, I say. Thank you. I pick up my cold coffee, dump it in the sink, and brew a fresh cup. There's a Peterson account review at 10, and a team meeting at 11. Work continues. Life continues. The ledger is balanced. The federal courthouse smells like old wood and nervous sweat. I sit 3 rows back, hands folded in my lap, watching Sterling shuffle into the courtroom in an orange jumpsuit that hangs loose on his shrinking frame. He doesn't look at me. Preston sits on the opposite side, eyes fixed on his shoes. Meredith isn't here. Her plea deal came with conditions. 6 months. That's how long it took for the system to grind through depositions, plea negotiations, and sentencing hearings. 6 months of sleeping through the night for the first time in years. The judge calls my name. I walk to the podium, my heels clicking against marble floors. The courtroom is packed. Veterans groups fill the back rows, their faces weathered and hard. Local news cameras line the walls, red lights blinking. I unfold my statement. The paper doesn't shake. Your Honor, members of the court. I begin. My voice carries without effort. I didn't lose a father in this process. I lost a liability. Sterling's head snaps up. Our eyes meet for the first time today. I don't look away. For 5 years, I paid $192,000 toward what I believed was a family obligation. The truth is, I was funding my brother's gambling debts while my parents pocketed the difference. They forged my signature. They lied about property they'd already sold. And when I discovered the truth, they tried to destroy my career, rather than face consequences. I fold the paper and step back. The judge nods, makes a note, and begins reading the sentences. Sterling, 5 years in federal prison for wire fraud and identity theft. Preston, probation, permanent felony record, restitution payments he'll never finish. Meredith, house seized, now living in state-subsidized senior housing 40 minutes from anyone she knows. The gavel falls. It sounds final. 3 weeks later, I sit on my own dock drinking coffee as the sun rises over water that belongs to me. The deed arrived yesterday, my name printed in neat black letters. No co-signers, no hidden clauses, just Addison Clark, sole owner. The cabin is small. 1 bedroom, a kitchen with mismatched cabinets, a porch that needs new boards. I bought it with the money I saved. No more $3,200 monthly payments. No more photoshopped tax bills. No more checking my bank account 3 times a day. waiting for the next forged signature. This lake is different from grandmother's, quieter. No memories of childhood summers or family promises. Just water and trees and the occasional loon calling across the surface. The silence used to hurt. When my mother would go days without returning calls, when my father would sit across from me at dinner and talk only about invoices and interest rates, that silence felt like punishment, like I wasn't worth the effort of conversation. This silence heals. I open my journal, the leather cover soft from handling. The pages are full now. Months of processing narcissistic family dynamics with Dr. Morgan, writing down revelations that felt obvious in hindsight but impossible to see while living them. I write, "Love isn't measured in dollars. Duty doesn't mean doormat." My phone buzzes. A text from Mr. Henderson. "Congratulations on the promotion, senior forensic consultant. Well deserved. The firm gave me a raise last month. More responsibility, more complicated cases. I've started specializing in family fraud cases, helping other people untangle financial abuse from people who claim to love them. The work matters in ways my old audits never did." Aunt Linda's son sent flowers to my new address. The card read, "You saved my college fund. Grandfather stole it years ago. Thank you for telling the truth." Chosen family, I'm learning, means more than shared blood. I close my journal and set down my coffee cup. The wine will come later, at sunset, when the water turns gold and the air cools. For now, I just sit. No anxiety, no obsessive account checking, no wondering if this month's payment cleared or whether my father will text demanding more. I pull out my journal one more time and write the final entry. For years, I balanced their books. Now I've balanced my life. The ledger shows what I always suspected. I was never the debt. I was the asset they couldn't afford to keep. I close the journal and watch the sun climb higher. The ledger is finally balanced.